Invariably, my friend, we are circling the issue and we're trying to call attention to what's going on. And we're trying to teach people how, yet again, to critically think and how to focus on what's going on. I am not as, I don't want to say I'm not concerned, but I am not as focused on the Los Angeles fire for any other reason than to show you the bigger picture. I'm not in any way implying that I don't care or that it's not important or anything like that. No. But what I'm saying is that it is one of the greatest tutorials ever. And I have been through this. I have been through this so many times. I was here on a day, on the 11th day of the 9th month, 23 years ago. And I remember what I saw and what the news reported and what people on the ground, what they said, and yet what the media reported. And then how we are told narratives. We are told what to see. This is what this is. It's almost like sleight of hand. It's something along those lines, which is so fascinating. It's sleight of hand. Look at this. Now, couple of rules. Everything you need to know is being presented to you flat out, up front, right in front of you. The truth is here. You have to look for it. It is not going to be on Fox News or CNN or cable. It's not going to be on the New York Post or in the New York Post. It's not going to be in the Daily Mail. It's not going to be there. It's going to be in Substack. It's going to be on what you might consider to be outlier news organizations, people who focus on something. Whenever epidemiologists or pathologists, whatever, look to see why there is an uptick in certain diseases or pathologies, they look for a variety of things. They don't necessarily go in with the idea of looking for a particular reason. This is why we have double blinds. This is why we have control groups. And what I'm saying is, I'm hearing from people. I'm going to play something for you, which was just one of these heartfelt moments from Pat Boone. Pat Boone, whom I respect so much, because throughout his career, he has maintained, he was drinking milk. He said, I'm going to be Pat Boone. I'm going to be and live the way I want to live, whether it's Christian or wholesome, and he did it. His version of Tutti Frutti was a disaster. We're also going to show you Elon Musk meeting with firefighters or those from CAL FIRE or the local, who I'm sure will be immediately dispatched by virtue of his involving himself with the enemy. We're going to be looking at this latest controversy. Have you heard they're giving James Woods grief? They're saying that he was pretending to cry, that he said, oh, my house, lo and behold, has been saved, when he said it was burned down. Is he doing this to run for office? Is he a liar? Is he, the left is going crazy, which of course makes me run to defend him, admittedly, because whatever drives them crazy must be true. Whatever makes them, or I guess it's the opposite. So we'll be talking about that. And also, again, my response to you, let me get rid of these stupid things. My response to you and my thanks to you for following. The numbers are upticks. Thank God for your focus has been terrific. Like I said, our currency, what makes us get into that HOV lane of influence, are metrics like likes, but subscriptions are critical. So make sure you are still subscribed. I don't know what that little X, that thumbs down, I have no idea what that is. But in any event, thank you for this. But now, my friends, this word from our sponsors. As we step into 2025, one thing is absolutely clear. De-dollarization is not stopping. It's accelerating. China and other BRICS nations are scared of President Trump, and it's making them more determined to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar and establish themselves as global economic superpowers. And their secret weapon? Gold. In fact, China resumed buying gold, and you know what's even more telling? They underreport their buy. Now, doesn't it make you wonder why? They recognize its global value and ability to withstand economic shocks. Gold is a global asset with innate value. It's tangible, reliable, and immune to economic manipulation. China and other BRICS countries want to be prepared. They just don't want it known. But this isn't just about nations. It's about you. In a world of shifting economic power, gold is your personal hedge against uncertainty. Noble Gold Investments can help you secure your financial future with gold. So visit LionelNationGold.com today to learn more. And with a qualified account, receive 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins. That's LionelNationGold.com. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. Now, my friends, this is very difficult for some folks to handle this because you might be joining us for the first time and you might say, what exactly are you what are you talking about? Well, let me start with the initial premise. First premise is, and the first thing you should always remember is never, ever, ever believe anything the government tells you in terms of the actual means and modalities of causation. Don't. They never tell you the truth. Never. Government only wants to tell you what they want you to believe. And that's critical. They want you to believe what they want you to believe. Government never tells you the truth. Never. It will always be a sort of, and sometimes they can't. I understand this. And remember, and I'm going to say this cautiously, the closest we are ever going to come to truth is President Trump for a long time. But even then, understand he still goes from a civilian into this world. And in this world, they can't tell you the truth. Now, listen very carefully. I'm going to start off with something that you might think, what? I saw this. I almost went past it this morning. I go through my X. I spend so much time because I learn so many things. It's the best news source. Some of the stuff is just incredible. I have on X, by the way, at Lionel Media. I also have a subscription part. And for the good stuff, because there's some wild stuff there, I put into the, dare I say, out of the public eye, because there are some things that are really good that would blow people's minds. Remember, don't overwhelm your audience. But this is Pat Boone. Pat Boone is 90 years old. His daughter, Debbie Boone, remember those of you from my generation? Do you remember when she did You Light Up My Life? What was I, 74, 75, 70? I don't know, but it was the biggest thing. Oh my God. I hear it in my sleep. In any event, here's Pat Boone. Listen to him carefully.
Neighbor,
I like
your
that.
friend Pat Boone here again. And I say again because thousands have been trying to reach me and want to know how I'm doing because of these fires
He looks
that
great,
are
doesn't he?
happening, this
90?
terrible tragedy that just keeps going on and on. And I'm gratified by that. Thank you for your concern, and I share it completely for all the people who are losing everything and then don't know where to go or how to start again.
Let me just stop right there. And please forgive me. I always interrupt. I always stop. I always say, watch this. I'm Mr. Zapruder. You know what I noticed, first of all? Some people have no ability to be sincere on videos. They just cannot do it. Some people just, they can't do it. I don't know what it is. They're in their car, or they're looking at the wrong lens, or they just don't. For this 90-year-old guy sitting here, I guess with his own phone, he comes across so well, so believable. I feel as though he's talking to me. And that ability, that talent, you're just born with.
And though I have been blessed to be in a part so far, part of the state where I haven't felt threatened, I can't say that now anymore, because mysteriously, just above Hollywood Hills, more fires have broken out tonight. And it's causing me to wonder, and that's why I want to think out loud with you for a minute. If I were a terrorist coming into this country illegally, and there are at least a couple of 100,000 that our government tells us do exist in this country, and I don't want to be an American, and I am not here because I love America, but because really I'd like to do something like 9/11 and hurt America, if not destroy it. If I were such a person, how would I go about it? Would I want to try to bring down huge buildings with bombs, or might I do something much easier?
Yes.
Might I just go with the wind blowing somewhere with a blanket saturated in kerosene and strike a match, let it bloom and blossom, catch the wind?
Okay. Well, he's right. That's not why I want you to watch this, but just keep going. You'll see.
And then leave. No fingerprints, no evidence. And then sit back and watch on television and laugh as the winds do the rest of the dirty work. Would that not occur to me? And as it's happening now in place after place after place, including right now, just above me in the Hollywood Hills, it's conceivable that this could actually happen. I think we need to give it thought, and also realize that God doesn't do these things to us.
Now, I agree with him, even though I am irreligious, but I've always said, this isn't God. Remember, there's that free will thing.
But God allows consequences for actions or for inactions.
Lie hop, baby. Let it happen on purpose.
And it all winding up God wanting us to call on him, bring
Okay, all right. Well, whatever.
him into our lives, not just when things are going great or when we have some personal problem, but when tragedies like this are happening.
All right, I'll give
We
you
need
that.
to call on a God who created us in his image,
All right.
who loves us, wants only the best for us, who is infinitely powerful, but who sometimes will allow things to happen, as he always has through history, even with his own people, the Jewish people and Israel, allow them to suffer consequences for inaction and lack of concern, and even lack of calling him into our lives.
Now, this is please. I don't want to get into the religious part of this. I'm sorry. I just wanted you to maybe a little bit too far. I love the way that God's off the hook or to blame. Ask him for help. Don't ask him for help. He did it. He didn't do it. If he wants us, well, good, help you. I'm not going to help you. Well, what am I praying for? No, I'm going to show you. But okay, I'm not going to argue that point. But I've always said, God says, hey, you're on your own. I'm more of a, I guess you could say, a deist. You know, maybe there is something, but a non-intervention. So don't bother praying. I'm not going to intervene. I'm just going to, whatever. Okay, fine. But here's what he said. First, you see the meme that's been created? It's the wind. It's the wind. It's the wind. That's all it is. Don't worry about it. It's the wind. The wind. Mm-hmm. And other people are saying, wow. Do you know how it would be to drop something with drones? Do you think that LA or this area is the only dry area? No. If you're Xi Jinping and you're saying, let's see how good this let's see if we move it elsewhere. Let's see what you think. You know, Raul Rodriguez says, will the ghouls be vanquished after January 21st? Absolutely not. You know better than that. Cut Up Chatter says, Wolverines, little jobs that add up to acts of war. Interesting. Angry Lover, if I can't have you, no one will. Wow. Interesting. Tom Malloy says, they never even shut off the natural gas lines serving these neighborhoods, adding fuel to these fires. Oh, yes. We're going to see more and more and more of this. Now, remember the memes. Remember the memes. This is the most important. This is the most important stuff. This is how I tell you. During these well, here we go. Only days after TikToking, who will care for your lawns? Richie Rich, no more lawns. I love this cuckoo rat-a-tat-tat kind of delivery. I thank you for that. It's very interesting. But here is the question, my friend. And this is very, very simple. Very, very interesting. What do you think? What do you think about the notion and the questions of, dare I say, causation? Causation is a fascinating story. Let me give you something to watch here. This is from a piece, I don't know where, but it's that great fellow, Keith Morrison. You know who he is, right? You know Keith Morrison, the world. Bill Hader does a great Keith Morrison. Listen to the setup of this.
What a crazy idea it is.
Oops.
What a bit of madness. This vast, sprawling city, collection of cities, on an earthquake-prone, drought-prone, fire-prone desert by the sea.
Now, by the way, this is the oldest trope in the world. This is what they used to do years ago. They talked about San Francisco. Remember the this World Series? And they said, is this God's wrath? By the way, Anita Bryant just passed away. She was like 84. I thought she was older. Anita Bryant, for those of you who remember, somebody who spoke her mind, granted, not very popular. But anyway, these tropes, these memes, these ideas that why would they build this? It's not God blaming or blasting the dare I say the what am I trying to say? The gays. It's you built it on these tectonic plates, and it's a lot of places. Florida, why do you build hurricanes? It's a lot of places. I guess Wyoming, maybe Chugwater might be the only place. In any event, you know where this is going. It's kind of an interesting trope, if you will.
What were we thinking? Even the water to drink, water to fight the fires, imported from somewhere else, like the people. And yes, it is glorious and inspired, and has given the whole world 100 years of drama and joy and laughter.
But still,
names and faces known and loved and loathed by humans everywhere.
Can I help you load the chairs in?
And every once in a while, it is just impossible.
I'm trying to find my dad.
Which is how living in LA feels to a lot of people just now.
You hear that? You hear this inevitability. It comes with the territory. And there have been, listen, I'm not telling you this isn't true. Understand the meme. This is the way it is. Well, it's meant to be. Well, when your number's up, well, that's the way it is. Don't look for any other causation. Don't look over here. Don't look at other things like maybe, LA, 2020. No, don't go there. Just this is what we all ask for this.
Impossible and terrifying.
The flames are just kind of leaping right over us.
This one, many fires at once, is perhaps the worst of them. But there are so many, many stories in the history of this great benighted city.
Benighted City is a wonderful story, kind of like where you're charmed by kind of a goofy craziness. Benighted. I like the term benighted moonbat. I love that.
There has been so much loss.
Fire has jumped Mulholland at the crest of the Santa Monica.
This is William Conrad. This is Cannon. Notice his voice is also was he the Shadow? No, that was Orson Welles. I forget who it was, but or was he? Yeah. Anyway, but this goes to show you. See, it's in the past. It's in our history. Don't think this is anything new.
It took Bel Air.
Rare is the Angelino who remembers this one personally.
Fire crews.
This was 1961, and it was Bel Air.
See, it's happened before. Nothing to see here. Nothing different. This has happened. This is what we signed up for.
Fire
This one destroyed 484 homes, chewed through 6,000 acres of prime real estate.
Yep.
Burt Lancaster's house burned down, and Joan Fontaine's and Zsa Zsa Gabor's and Dennis Hopper's.
I'm Tom Brokaw over Laguna Beach, California.
This is the one they call the Great Fire of '93.
See, we see what I'm just saying. It's not that this isn't true, but you see how your sense of, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
Took out a giant swath of Laguna. And there were more. There have always been more.
Always.
One fire after another some years through the Santa Ana winds of winter so dry that pliant oak and chaparral shriveled to kindling.
The Santa Ana winds. The Santa Ana winds. Nor'easter. That's a big one we have here. The nor'easter. The Santa Ana winds. 100 miles an hour out of nowhere. See, it's happened in the past. That's true. Nothing to see here. Move along. And let's make our city digital now.
Practically begged to be burned. How often have bits of Malibu gone down in flames to take multi-million-dollar mansions with them? Are we keeping track of the fires and the droughts and the floods and the earthquakes and the gridlock and housing prices that are clearly insane?
Mm-hmm.
And still we come here. Because there is something about Los Angeles.
Okay, let me stop right there. You can watch this. By the way, I've got this piece of my ex. Do you see the way it is? You see? Isn't that something? I love the memes. And a meme is from Richard Dawkins. I think it was the God gene or the selfish gene or whatever it's called. Memetics. The meme is an idea. It's a quantum. It's almost like a piece of information or data, a trope, an idea that is passed on almost like genetics. It's fascinating how this thing works. Fascinating. And then we have other people who give us something maybe less produced as this. This is very, very good. Very, very interesting. Certainly a wonderful, wonderful piece of information and data. I love it. He's so good. Keith Morrison is great. And by the way, Bill Hader's version of it is so terrific. Well, it was wild. You know, I can't do the imitation, but obviously you've heard this before, and it's a fascinating piece. But see, that's what I like. And see, let me explain something. Mr. Morrison, who, by the way, whose stepson-in-law or son-in-law was Matthew Perry, if I recall correctly. He's not a part of any kind of, what am I saying this? He's not a part of any kind of, let me see something here. He's not a part of any kind of, what am I trying to say here? He's not a part of any kind of, for lack of a better word, any kind of deliberate conspiracy. He's not doing that. He's not a part of it. He's doing, excuse me, I gotta check something here. He's just doing what everybody else is doing. Pardon me. What everybody's saying, what everybody's a part of, that's all he's doing. In any event, let's watch this one. This is a real good one here. Watch this fellow.
Not very sympathetic to there were 100-mile-an-hour winds. Not because it's not true, but there's been enough modeling that we know that these kinds of outlier weather events are happening in greater and greater frequency. Remember that crazy apocalyptic video of that exact same part of Southern California in 2018 burning to the ground? Because that was 6 years ago. This is not like it was a distant memory from 100 years ago. We knew in 2018 that these types of...
the Sepulveda pass.
So yeah. This idea that we were just lollygagging around and got caught off guard by 100-mile-an-hour winds, to me, is completely not an acceptable answer.
Hear that?
We knew in 2018 that these things could happen. We knew across the rest of the United States that these outlier weather events were happening in greater and greater frequency. If you weren't sure, you saw most of the insurance companies try to dump Southern California homes' fire coverage 3 months before this event happened. So all this data was in the realm of the knowable. And then when you double click and you get into a little bit more of the details, there's a level of incompetence bordering on criminal negligence here that we need to get to the bottom of. So I'll just give you a couple of facts. In the 1950s, the average amount of timber, so wood that was harvested in California, was around 6 billion board feet per year. In the intervening 70 years, that shrank to about 1.5 billion board feet. And so you'd say, okay, well, that's a 75% reduction. We must be making a very explicit stance on conservation. It turns out that that's not entirely true, because what it left behind was nearly 163 million dead trees. Dead, like gone. And so you would say, well, those things should have been removed. And the problem is that then there's this California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, and a whole bunch of these other regulatory policies that limited the ability of local governments and fire management to clear these dead trees and vegetation. And I think that that's a really big deal. And when you double click on that, here's where you find the real head scratcher. Okay? Multiple bills, AB 2330, AB 1951, AB 2639, all rejected by the Democrat-controlled legislature, or worse, vetoed by Governor Newsom, that would have exempted these wildfire prevention projects from CEQA and other permitting issues.
Do you hear that? Let's just stop right there. I don't want you to be... This is a part of the overall picture. Do you see what's happening here? It's a combination. I'm going to bring up this example again, like I have before. And it's the idea of cancer. And I told you this analogy. I said years ago, there was a friend of mine who was a medical professor. And I said, is cancer, is it environmental? Is it genetic? Is it lifestyle? Is it anomalous? Is it ischemic? Not ischemic. Is it idiopathic, where you don't know the cause of it? And he said, yes. It's a multivariate thing. You see, the best part about corruption is, if I told Keith Morrison, if I said, you did a very good piece right there, but you know what you did? You told everybody not to be suspicious. You told everybody not to be suspicious because this is something that happens. You told, and he's not a part of this. He's not a part of the deep state. He didn't sign it. He could be. I don't think so. He did what he thought was right. He did a good piece. Do you remember years ago when they talked about Lee Harvey Oswald? Do you remember what they said? They said the reason why you think Lee Harvey Oswald is responsible, or the reason why you believe in a conspiracy of other people isn't because of this evidence. It's because that you cannot believe that somebody as insignificant as this could have possibly taken out your prince, your great John Kennedy, that you cannot believe. It is so difficult for you. And some people said, you know what? And what did that do? That lowered the level of suspicion, lowered the level of skepticism, and changed it. By the way, there's a difference. I looked up the difference between skepticism and cynicism, or suspicion rather. And skepticism is where you have a critical thinking basis for believing there's something to this. A suspicion is something that's less important, that's less valid, that's less whatever. I don't really know if that's true or not. I like the distinction, by the way. Karen Peterson says, but aren't we smarter now, more educated on this history? People aren't buying it this time. Negligence on purpose, shaking my head. No, they're not. You might be. We are the vast majority. And all I'm saying is keep looking, keep looking. Not buying this. Keep looking, keep looking. I haven't said specifically what's happening. Notice how they're saying now, oh, it's an arson. You think one person you think an arson did this? No. 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 This is the year 2024. Don't give me this 1961 business. I showed you yesterday these planes, right? And I'm going to say this again. What Keith Morris said, whoa, that must have been wild. You know, that kind of. I'd say, Keith, do you find it interesting that we have satellite technology that can read your watch? Supposedly or supposedly, they said that Osama bin Laden was in caves because they could read the radium or any kind of glow in the dark on a dial of, if anybody uses it anymore, that a satellite could read a license tag, a satellite could. And yet we have absolutely no technology available to take this little swath of land right here. And there's others as well, but right here, it's tiny. Here's the Earth. And when you got the satellite up here, you know, it covers a lot. We want one little area. And can you put some heat detectors and can you just kind of keep an eye on this? Yeah. So that when somebody says, oh, there's some activity right there. And by the way, can we take all these rich people and insurance companies and we're going to have drones flying out there? They're not hurting anybody. Flying over trees where the chaparral and the timber and the Santa Ana winds. Just send them out. Send the drones out. Always looking around. And as soon as they see a wisp of smoke, they call in the position, the coordinates, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they send just you saw those planes, big bucket of something, flies over and douses it. They're dropping sand. Forget the water and just dropping sand. Cut Up Chatter says, the dial moves slightly every day. And like encroaching earthquakes, we just live, shrug, and say, okay. Some of us do. Well, we have to. We're sort of, but you're right about that. But this is the thing which I don't understand. I don't understand. Steve Jobs could have survived his pancreatic cancer. Steve Jobs, everybody said. But he opted for juice or something. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing the story. Warren Zevon decided never to go to a doctor. Had all kinds of problems, coughing. Never went to, It's one thing when you don't go to I haven't been to a doctor. But when you got problems and you're, no. So these are things in life I don't understand. So if I took Elon is taking these rockets go up and then they back up again. I couldn't believe this. You mean to tell me the answer is of course we can. Of course we can. Somebody, hey, there's a fire. And once it's like this, it doesn't take, even if it's an hour, it doesn't go, no. All of a sudden, you see a plane, here they go. And what would that do? Let's say you're a bad person. Let's say you're a part of the deep state cabal. Let's say you're an arsonist with a kerosene-soaked blanket. You're going to say, now's not the time. They keep sending these planes over and dousing everything. And what do you think about James Woods? Do you see? Is anybody here? I know that we like him. I like him. He's very smart. He's on our side, took a lot of heat for what he believes. Do you think he might have known? Do you think he would have gone on TV, cried and said, I lost my house, I lost everything, knowing it wasn't lost? Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Do you honestly think that? Answer my question. Do you think he is so because he wants to run for governor or he realizes his career is over? And remember years ago when he said, I was on a plane and there was some 9/11. I still don't know that story. I couldn't tell you now if I had to. But do you believe that James Woods, because now they said, hey, guess what? My house, it's not burned. But you said it was. Well, I know I did, but I was mistaken, but it's okay now. Do you think he would have done that? Do you believe so? Does anybody think that? I can't believe he would be that stupid. Adam Carolla, again, somebody who was lefty and now isn't, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know what he is. He did the Man Show with Jimmy Kimmel years ago. He said, I don't know if my house is. See, James Woods is a smart person. See, I don't know anything about him personally. He could be a conniving, backstabbing. I don't think so. But I know he's smart. And a smart person would say, I'm not going to say. First of all, I know that my house is okay, and I'm going to go on CNN and cry about a little kid who came up with a piggy bank. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe it only because he's not that stupid. He's not stupid. You've got to be an idiot to do that. It's one of the things which is very interesting. I always look at, what did they do? Not because of the morality. I don't know who James was. I don't know who anybody is. There's been stuff, as much as we love Trump, there's been some stuff he's done in his personal life. I would say, what are you, nuts? But that's life. Don't you have friends of yours, members of the family? Haven't you yourself, during the course of your life, haven't you ever said, oh my God? Quick, stop for a second. Have you ever looked back at your life and said, what was I doing? That was the most stupid thing I've ever done. Don't ever tell anybody what it was. Just sometimes I'll be sitting there all of a sudden. I'll remember, oh my God, that was so stupid. How did I not see that? Well, thank God nobody knows about that. Or just let it go. No need to tell anybody. But just remember, whenever you think you're real important, you're not. Whenever you think you're real special and real educated, you're not. You don't know anything. I don't know anything. It's not the fact that we're human and no. We're just stupid. And all we are is maybe not as stupid as other people or smarter than other people. Let me give you an example. Let's assume, now listen to me, thought experiment. Let's assume Shaquille O'Neal were to be born, and we knew how big he was going to be, and we put him on an island. I know this makes no sense. And he's walking around and he thinks, I'm Shaquille O'Neal. I'm 7 foot, whatever it is. And all of a sudden we say, okay, now let some regular people out into and he's, I don't know how old he is. And he looks and he goes, oh my God, these are midgets. Look at these little tiny people running around here. And they're not. They're 5'10", 5'6 feet. They're just regular sized people. But to him, he thinks, oh my God, look at this. There's all these little people. And assuming we don't send out pygmies, which would really be something. But let's just assume, from Shaquille O'Neal's point of view, he says, oh my God, these people are, what is going on here? From, let's say, the people that I released, likewise lived on islands. They never seen a Shaquille O'Neal. They go out and they say, oh my God, there's this giant. Who's right? Nobody's right. It's your perspective. When you say you're tall compared to other people. You're not as tall as a horse. Some horses are, or a giraffe or whatever it is. So everything is relative. Everything is relative to who you are. Don't ever think you're something special. You are not. And whenever I drive by, there's all these cemeteries. I think cemeteries are the most stupid things in the world. I hate cemeteries. And look at this. Graveyards are filled with indispensable men. All of these people were great. And they're reduced to this. A name on a piece of rock. And I'm supposed to go and... So just remember that. Just remember that. James Woods is just like you. President Trump is just like you. You might be better in some respects. You might be superior. But just remember, life is, all you want to do is keep your stupid mistakes to a minimum. But you will one day say, oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm having more and more of these like moments of, oh God. You ever thought to yourself, I could have gotten killed? When you were a kid, did you ever do something where you thought, I could have been killed? Some people really, it's almost like survivor's guilt, but there's nobody there. It's just you, luckily. Now, let me explain something also to you. My friends, we have this wonderful thing called, this love of the word, narcissist. This is Dr. What her name is, Barami. She's a very smart lady. She's done like 9 million videos on narcissism. Mad Hater says, do you think someone like James Woods may run for governor? Absolutely. Especially when California goes red. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, if I met James Woods, I'm going to say, first of all, for me to think that you said, yeah, I know my house is okay, but I'm going to go on TV and I'm a good actor and I'm going to cry. You're not that stupid. It's not that I think you're morally okay. I just don't think you're stupid enough to do that. By the way, James Woods, his best movie ever. He played Byron Della Beckwith. Oh my God. Remember the man who killed Medgar Evers, the assassin? Okay, let's talk about something. Let's talk about affect. Affect. What is affect? Your face, your emotions, your ability to show movement. Try jumping on nerves and movements and all kinds of things and, you know, smiles and winks and eyes, and you watch the eyes and you see happiness and you see a smile. You can see this. Sometimes we see more and more and more the flat affect. Used to call that autism spectrum disorder. You used to call it Asperger's, whatever it is, flat. There is one person I know, I don't see that often, but I always, if ever I get the chance, I spend the entire time trying to see a smile. He's not dumb. I don't know. I've never asked him, the parents, what exactly is wrong with him? I would never do that, but there's something different, not wrong, but it's different, but he never smiles. There is no emotion. Xi Jinping never smiles. Never. It's the same. He was excoriating with something. They got him on mic. He was letting Trudeau have it. Never, nothing. Absolutely never. I want to explain something very, very simple to you, very, very important, very, very critical about this world, if you will, of this reality, which is very brutal. But I want to talk about something else, which is also catastrophic. I'm reading it all the time. The number of absolute defaults on loans and credit card defaults, and I mean, I guess people think everything's groovy now. It's not. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Now let's look about this. Let's look at this. First and foremost, if ever you go into any kind of office, running for office, you have to know how to speak to them. Some people are good. Some people are so-and-so. Some people have a magic. I don't know what it is. Some people can really do it. Others cannot do it. Trump has this absolute incredible. By the way, James Woods, there's an S, and Newsom has no E at the end. Did you know that? I don't know why. There's certain weird spellings that you think, I didn't know that. I've always Wood. Anyway, here is a woman, this Marxist, lefty, perfect Cali loon that nobody really thought about, but she was the prototypical black woman, short hair, one of those, I don't know about, I'm not making any allusions or suggestions for sexuality, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's get the black woman. Okay, great. She got short hair? Great. Oh my God. There was a time, don't think that doesn't matter. Listen, there was a time, my friends, remember, where if you were a black woman and you looked like Angela Davis and you had a fro and you went like that, yeah, you're in. If you wore a dashiki and wore beads and yeah, okay. Sorry. That's the way it goes. We see it too sometimes on our side. You wear a MAGA hat, you wear a cowboy hat, you wear this, certain things. Well, there's this lovely, lovely and wonderful uniform, and it's this Karen Bass. Now, Bass is incredible. This is, you've been through this. This Venceremos, remember she went to, she ties to violent radicals. You know the story. You know Karen Bass. I'm not going to go through this whole, but there's no reason where you can, when you find yourself, it's one thing to say, you know what, I kind of believe that maybe there's something to be said for, socialism to an extent. Social Security, social Medicare. But Marxism? Are you sure about that? Do you really want Marxism in terms of class struggles? Do you want to, and you want to meet with some, anyway, okay. Now watch this woman. She's trying to act maternalistic. Ronald Reagan did it best, the days of the space shuttle, when he said, oh my God, he was like so wonderful, so touching. Rudy Giuliani during 9/11 was wonderful. Wonderful. Our good friend Christian says, Brigadista Bass. Indeed. Remember that subcomandante Bush at 9/11? And those people who knocked them buildings down, they're going to hear from us too. Yeah. Rudy, fantastic. Watch Karen Bass. Watch this. And let's really dissect this, shall we? Watch the way she's trying to convey to you support, but encouragement. And she's trying to also show you empathy and sympathy.
Angelinos, we're still going through it. And to any of you and all of you that have...
Angelinos, right off the bat, I'm not buying any of this. Hey, folks, I'm surprised you didn't say, hey, guys, because everybody says guys. If you do any kind of a TV, hey, guys, just like we use the word literally and bruh. Literally and bruh. If you get arrested, you got to say, bruh, let go of me, bruh, I'm driving, bruh. And also, literally, I was literally driving. Okay, that, but also, hey, guys. She doesn't do that. But she loves this Angelinos. Like she doesn't really buy it. You see what I'm saying? I don't think she really believes it, sort of.
Angelinos.
Hey, I'm smiling. Look at this. Hey, guys. It's me. You're comunista.
We're still going through it. And to any of you and all of you that have experienced a loss.
If any of you have experienced a loss, hey, salad.
The grief, the anger, the just
Look at this, the smile. Look at this. Did you see this? Did you see this?
utter shock. I've seen the devastation.
I've seen the devastation. May have even caused it by virtue of my incompetent policies, but
It is unbelievable the
yes,
amount of loss that people have experienced.
yes, unbelievable. Yes, I realize it. Yes, it's unbelievable. Angelinos, that's the cool way we call it. Angelinos.
But we have to get through this crisis. And
We have to get through it. And we're going to get through it because we're going to take all this away and we're going to move in all this affordable housing. Hear that, Brentwood? Hear that, Beverly Hills, Malibu? Ho, ho! Good news. Oh, my Fidelisto, Cubasi, Cubasi, comunista, siempre. Here we go. Oh, we're gonna build back better and quite differently.
I know that we will. I was at the Silmar command post today, and I saw the work of our first responders. And
I saw the work at the command post, not in the wood. Some poor guy with a hose saying, "What the hell am I supposed to do?" And I'm just smiling because I'm a psychopath.
how they've been able to defeat the fires in certain areas. We know we still have much more to go, and we know the winds are going to kick up again.
The winds are going to kick up again. Yeah, those pesky winds. You know those winds. We're going to do our best. Oh, shucks. Hey, Angelinos.
But we got to stick together. We got to stand strong.
We got to stick together. We got to stand strong. We got to say, well, what are you going to do? I don't know. She's not saying what we're going to do. She's just saying we got to stick there and we got to fight. She never says pray or anything like that. She says we just got to be strong.
And then we have to rebuild our city. We're the nation's second largest city.
We're going to rebuild it, all right. Wait till you see this. Not the way you've got in mind. You got that? You got that, Barbara Streisand? Whoa. We got something in mind.
One of the greatest cities in the world. And we stay together and we will rebuild an amazing city.
An amazing city where we can walk, 15-minute cities where we can bike and we can have no cars. No. And you're going to be right there and you're going to be stacked up on top of a Starbucks or a barista. And maybe we'll let you out a couple of times a day and you can walk around and go back and we'll have little metro, little shuttle buses. No more cars. No. This is the future.
So thank you, Angelinos. And my thoughts and prayers are out to all of you that are going through
no leadership,
loss and pain today. We will get through this.
Nothing. She offers nothing. No, nothing. I mentioned this before. There's a woman, you've seen her on YouTube. She's this Indian woman. She's very smart. She talks about narcissists. She's got 9 million views on narcissism. It's the most incredible thing in the world. Look at this. Lori Cuck says, this woman is highly educated. I don't know. Let's see. Karen Bass. Let's look at her wiki. That's kind of interesting. By the way, Karen is 71. She went to USC. Her education. She went to USC. And it's USC. And let me see what else. She's 71-year-old. Is she? I always like to see. A resident. She has 5 children. Her husband is Jesus Lechuga. Lechuga is lettuce, isn't it? Is that right? Lechuga. Jesus Lechuga. They were divorced in 86. Oh, that's much. But she early life, she got her master's degree. She went to teach philosophy. Okay, I guess she's educated. But like I said, there are people who love this word about narcissism. I like this kind of a mild version of psychopath. Now, let me tell you the way to do this. And this is the man that everybody, and your pal Steve Bannon, who, by the way, I hope to God gets, look at Edie Crowley, bless her heart, says, thank you for all you, Mrs. L. Do. Thank you, Edie. This is a guy who, by the way, Steve Bannon has a hard on for or against. I don't know why. He doesn't like Elon. And Steve Bannon should get that jacket fumigated. But watch this. Hey guys.
Let's see. So this is I was asked if
Now, by the way, Elon has a nerdy, quirky, strange affect as well, but that makes him more lovable. He is exactly who he is. And this guy could be anywhere he wants. He is the richest man on the planet. And he's not like in hiding out like Zuckerberg or Tim Cook or any of these other people. He's out there, whether you like it or not. He's out there and he's talking to these people. And I hope he guarantees all of these folks' salaries, because you know they're going to be fired for insubordination.
if we could bring some more Starlinks here, so
Starlink.
brought some more Starlinks here, and I'm just here with the team, and they're going to provide a briefing of the Palisades fire. So please go ahead.
All right. Hello, good evening. My name's
This guy's done. He's toast. I hope his retirement is vested, because they're first. You're talking to Elon Musk? Oh, did you approve this? He's done.
Christian Litz. I'm with LA County Fire, cooperating with the partnership with CAL FIRE Team 2, and I'm Operations Section Chief on the Palisades Fire. So,
by the way, doesn't this guy look like a fireman compared to those beasts that we saw before? Doesn't he look like the real deal? Doesn't he? Doesn't he? Isn't it?
Palisades Fire, we've been here since the beginning of the fire on Tuesday. We were looking at extreme damaging winds, erratic fire behavior coming through and blowing in from about midway on this map and blowing all the way down to the coastline there.
When did that start? Just to frame the thing for people? Like assume people like, it's like great to get the story from like basically like a straight shooter.
Yep.
And like, you know, and so like, how did it start? And, you know, and then maybe after how did it start, then like what are some of the things that
now listen, how did it start
in the future? But how did it start out? Like what's the story?
So honestly, we don't know yet. It's still in an investigation. We don't know how it started.
Okay, let me stop right there. This is what we need. We love data. And the next thing that Elon has to do, and the president and everybody else, is say, let me tell you what they're planning to do. Let me tell you where they're going to go. And as we have been saying repeatedly, and it's been chronicled, LA 2028, this is the thing, which is this plan. But Smart LA 2028, remember this, along with Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Vision 2045, all of these folks that they've mentioned, but specifically, there are the C40s initiative. This is a movement to achieve UN globalist goals of restructuring cities to address the phony climate change business. This is the C40s initiative. The 15-minute city plan, which is named the Livable Communities Initiative, the LCI. And this one here, this LA, Smart LA, this is from 2020. So I don't want to keep, I just want you to understand something. Elon has to tell people, this is where they're going. So they say, we're going to build back. We're not going to rebuild James Woods' house or anybody else's house or no. That's not the rebuild. We're going to be better and smart. That's the word. Pay attention, my friends. Focus deliberately on this horror. That's exactly what's happening. So let me also say Edie Crowley and Laurie and Raul Rodriguez and Christian Janison, Mad Hater and Cut Up Chatter and Karen Peterson and Tom Malloy and Raul. We love you and thank you for this. Let me also remind you that it is now exactly 6 days until Mrs. L's birthday. And it would mean the most to us, the most, if you were to go immediately and subscribe to her channel at Lynn's Warriors for the yeoman's work, the incredible work that she is doing to protect our kids. Laurie says, I'm glad Elon's helped. Grateful. Oh, absolutely. Listen, I know people are just, Steve Bannon just will not let go. If anybody matters, if it doesn't matter to me, but I like what he's doing. So please do me a favor. Follow Mrs. L, number one. Number two, I put a link to the news, Lionel Nation News. I don't want to call them newsletters anymore. Sign up for this. I'm going to send you stuff and give you links and give you updates that I wish people would do. You're not going to hear this on Fox. You're not going to hear it on CNN or Fox or any of that kind of stuff. Nobody talks. They just love to show you pictures and say, wow. Or as Keith Morrison says, well, it's always been like that. What do you know? Thank you, Keith, but no. This doesn't have to be. And finally, to you and everyone who follows Lionel Nation, thank you. I can't tell you enough. I can't be any more sincere than telling you we need your numbers. We need to get the subscribers. We need to be able to show people that there is a market, that there is a need, and that there is an audience for our version of the truth. We're not left. We're not right. We're Trump as long as he makes it. We're with Trump because Trump's making sense. There was no choice in 2024. He was it. I mean, I hate to break it to you. This is it. We are not doctrinaire. We're not focused on a particular ideology. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Follow us at Lionel Nation. And until my great friends, we see you again. Have a wonderful and a great and a safe day. If you pray for those poor people, because what they've got planned, I don't even think they know what's coming. Have a great day and comment as you see fit. And of course, don't forget these final words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.